Kai was not like most humans. He was young, brave, and curious ever since he was a child. He dreamed of exploring the stars. Now, as a space explorer, he traveled far from Earth to unknown planets. One day, while exploring a new world, something unexpected happened. Kai's small exploration ship was flying low over a rocky area. Suddenly, a strong storm came. The wind blew fiercely, and the ship shook. Kai tried to control it, but the storm was too strong. The ship hit a large rock and crashed hard. Kai felt a sharp pain in his leg. He lost his balance and fell. Everything went dark. When Kai opened his eyes, he was in a strange place. The room was bright and clean. White light shone softly from the ceiling. Machines beeped quietly near his bed. He tried to move but felt pain in his leg again. A soft voice spoke. "Welcome back," said the voice. Kai turned his head slowly and saw a tall figure standing near him. The figure wore a clean uniform. She had smooth green skin and big eyes that shone like stars. Her hair was dark and tied back tightly. Kai realized she was not human. She was an alien. "I'm Nurse Zara," she said calmly. "You are safe now. You are in the Central Space Hospital on planet Vera." Kai looked around and saw many strange machines. The walls moved softly and showed images of planets and stars. It felt like he was inside a spaceship. He tried to sit up, but Zara gently held his shoulder. "Do not move yet," she said. "Your leg is healing. You had a bad fall." Kai nodded. He felt grateful, but also curious. He wanted to ask many questions, but he was tired. Nurse Zara stayed by his side. She was quiet and serious. She checked his monitors and adjusted his bed. Kai watched her work. She was fast and careful. She did not smile or talk much. She was all business. Kai felt a little nervous. He did not know if she liked him or not. After a while, the door opened. Another nurse came in. This one was small with blue skin and bright eyes. She smiled at Kai and said, "Hello. You are lucky to be alive. This hospital is the best in the galaxy." Kai smiled weakly. "Thank you." The blue nurse left and Zara stayed. Kai wanted to speak again. "Why do you not talk much?" he asked quietly. Zara looked at him for a moment. "I focus on my work. Patients need care. Talking wastes time." Kai thought for a moment. But sometimes talking helps people feel better. Zara's eyes softened slightly. "Maybe. But feelings are not my job." Kai smiled. "Maybe I can help." Zara said nothing. Days passed. Kai stayed in the hospital. He slowly began to heal. Nurse Zara came every day to check him. She was always professional and serious. Kai noticed she was kind to others but never showed much emotion. One day, Kai saw Zara helping an old patient. The patient was scared and weak. Zara spoke softly and gave gentle care. Kai saw a small smile on Zara's face. It was the first time he saw her smile. Kai felt something new. He wanted to know more about her. At night, Kai looked at the stars from his window. He thought about his home on Earth and his dreams of adventure. He also thought about Zara, the alien nurse who was all business. He hoped that one day she might smile for him too. Days passed slowly in the Central Space Hospital. Kai's leg was healing well. But the real challenge was not just his injury. It was the strange world around him and the mysterious nurse, Zara. Zara was always there on time. She moved through the hospital like a calm storm, quiet, quick, and careful. She spoke only when needed. To Kai, she seemed like a machine made to heal, not to feel. One morning, Kai sat up in his bed, feeling stronger. He looked out of the window and saw the wide planet Vera stretching beneath the hospital. The sky was purple with two suns shining. Far away, it was beautiful but very different from Earth. Zara entered the room with her usual calm step. She checked the monitors and wrote notes on a small tablet. Kai wanted to speak, but the right words did not come easily. "Zara," he said softly. "How do you do this every day? Care for so many people?" Zara paused. Her green eyes looked at Kai. Steady and serious, "It is my duty. I was trained for this, to heal, to help. There is no other choice." Kai nodded. But you seem tired sometimes. Does it ever get hard? Zara did not answer at once. Then she said, hard, of course. But feeling tired or sad does not help patience. I focus on what I must do. Kai smiled gently. That is strong. I wish I could be like you. Zara's eyes softened just a little. Strength is needed to survive here. This hospital sees pain every day. Kai watched her. He felt a quiet sadness behind her eyes. He wanted to help, but he did not know how. Over the next few days, Kai tried to talk more. He told Zara about Earth, about the trees, oceans, and the stars at night. He described how humans laughed and sang. He wanted Zara to see a different side of life. Zara listened, but she did not join in the stories. She only nodded. She did not ask about his world or his feelings. One afternoon, Kai saw Zara helping a young patient in the hallway. The patient was scared and crying. Zara kneeled down and placed her hand gently on the child's shoulder. She spoke softly in a language Kai did not understand. The child stopped crying and looked at Zara with wide eyes. Zara smiled, a real smile this time. It was kind and warm. Kai's heart felt strange. He realized Zara was not cold or hard. She just kept her feelings hidden. She did care deeply, but she had learned to hide it. That night, Kai thought about Zara's smile. It was the first time he saw her this way. He wanted to see more. The next morning, Kai tried again to talk to Zara. Why do you hide your feelings? He asked. Zara looked away. Feelings make people weak. In my world, showing too much feeling is dangerous. Kai was surprised. Dangerous? How? Zara's voice was low. In my home, wars and loss taught us to protect ourselves. Showing feelings can bring pain. I learned to focus on healing, not on sadness. Kai felt sorry for her. He understood a little now. Zara's serious face was not coldness. It was protection. I am sorry, Kai said quietly. I did not know. Zara looked at him again. Her eyes soft. It is not your fault, Kai smiled. Maybe I can help you feel safe. Here, with me. Zara did not answer, but she stayed longer by his bed that day. She looked at him differently, as if she was thinking. Days passed, and Kai's leg grew stronger. He could walk again with help. He started to move around the hospital halls. Zara helped him carefully, always professional, but kinder. One afternoon, Kai met a group of alien nurses in the common room. They laughed and shared stories. Zara was there too, but she stayed quiet, watching. Kai smiled at her. Why don't you join them? Zara shook her head. I do not need distractions. I have my work. Kai felt a little sad. Sometimes friends make work easier. Zara looked at him, her eyes tired. Maybe. But I must stay ready for patients. Kai nodded. He wanted to break through her walls, but did not want to push too hard. That evening, Kai sat by the window again. He watched the twin suns set behind distant mountains. He thought about his home and about Zara. She was not like any nurse he had ever met. He made a small decision. If Zara was all business, he would be all patience. He would wait for her to open her heart when she was ready. Just then, the door opened quietly. Zara stepped in and said, Kai, it is time for your checkup. Kai smiled. Thank you, Zara. She nodded and began her work. She moved with grace and care. For a moment, Kai felt like she was not just a nurse. She was a guardian watching over him. Kai whispered to himself, one day, you will smile just for me. Kai's recovery was going well. He could walk with help and was learning to live in the hospital's strange world. But more than his leg, he wanted to understand Zara, the alien nurse who was always serious and all business. One morning, Kai was walking slowly down a wide hallway when he heard a soft cry. He stopped and looked around. Near the medical wing, he saw a small girl sitting on the floor. She had bright blue skin and looked scared. Her small body shook with fear. Kai approached her gently. Are you okay? He asked softly. The girl looked up, her eyes full of tears. I'm lost. I want my mother, she said in a trembling voice. Kai knelt beside her. I will help you find her, he said kindly. Just then, Zara appeared. She had been nearby and saw the girl. without a word. She moved close to Kai and the child. Her usual calm and serious face was soft now. "Stay here," Zara said to Kai. Then she spoke to the girl in a gentle voice Kai did not understand. The girl looked at Zara and smiled weakly. Zara took the girl's hand and stood up. Kai watched as Zara helped the girl stand. He saw something new, a small smile on Zara's face, warm and real, after they left. Kai felt a strange happiness. He realized Zara's heart was not closed. It was just hidden deep inside. Later that day, Kai sat in the hospital garden. The garden was small but full of bright flowers and soft grass. It was one of the few places in the hospital where patients could relax. Zara walked by and stopped near him. She looked around nervously, as if she did not like being outside the busy hospital halls. Kai smiled. "Do you like the garden?" he asked. Zara nodded slowly. "It is peaceful." Kai patted the empty spot next to him. "Sit with me." Zara hesitated but then sat down carefully. She looked at the sky, where the two suns were low and orange. They sat in silence for a while. Kai thought about how hard it must be for Zara to show any feeling. Finally, Kai said, "I want to understand you better, Zara." She looked at him, surprised. "Why do you want to do that?" "Because you are not just a nurse. You are someone special. I want to be your friend." Zara did not speak. Instead, she looked at Kai with eyes that seemed to ask questions without words. Kai smiled. "It is okay to be afraid. I'm not going anywhere." Zara's lips moved slightly, like she wanted to say something but stopped herself suddenly. A loud alarm sounded in the hospital. Red lights flashed, and a voice announced an emergency in the surgical wing. Zara stood quickly. "Come with me," she said. Kai followed her. Zara moved fast and sure. Kai tried to keep up. They reached the surgical wing where a patient was in trouble. The doctors and nurses worked together. Zara took charge of helping the surgeons by handing tools and checking monitors. Kai watched her focus and skill. She was calm and strong, a true professional. The emergency was serious, but Zara's quick help saved the patient's life. When the danger passed, she looked tired but proud. Kai approached her. "You were amazing, Zara." She looked at him, and for the first time, she said something more than just words for work. "Thank you, Kai. You stay calm, even when things get hard." Kai smiled. "You taught me how to stay strong." Zara looked down and then back at him. "You're learning." Quickly, Kai felt a warmth inside. He realized this was more than work between them. It was trust. That night, Kai lay in his bed thinking about Zara. He remembered her small smile with the lost girl. He remembered her quiet strength in the emergency. Kai knew Zara was not just all business. She had feelings, but she kept them hidden. He wanted to find a way to help her open her heart. But how? Kai closed his eyes and made a small wish. "I want to make you smile more, Zara. Not just for work, but for life." The hospital was quiet that morning. Kai was feeling better each day. He could walk longer and even help with small tasks, yet his thoughts kept returning to Zara, the alien nurse who seemed so serious but showed signs of warmth when she thought. No one watched. Kai wanted to do something special for her, but he wasn't sure what. He had heard about human gestures that expressed care and kindness. One of them was a kiss, not in a romantic way, but as a small sign of friendship and respect. Kai remembered a small digital device in his pocket, a gift from Earth. It could send simple images or messages. A tiny idea came to him. What if he sent Zara a kiss message? Maybe it would make her smile again. He waited until Zara was busy helping other patients. Then, quietly, Kai opened the device and sent a small digital kiss, a gentle, glowing heart that floated softly on the screen. Later that day, Zara came to check on Kai. When she saw the device in his hand, she raised an eyebrow, curious. Then, her eyes fell on the small glowing heart still shining softly on the screen. Zara looked surprised. She studied the image closely. Her serious face did not change at first, but Kai noticed something in her eyes. A flicker of warmth. Kai smiled gently. "It is a kiss, a way to say you care." Zara looked at him carefully. "In my culture, this is unusual." Kai nodded. "In Earth culture, It means friendship and kindness. Zara looked away for a moment. Then she said quietly, I do not understand these feelings well. My people do not show emotions easily. Kai reached out, careful and respectful. It is okay. You do not have to understand everything now. I want to share my world with you. Zara looked at him again. There was a softness in her gaze that Kai had never seen before. Days passed, and something changed between them. Zara began to stay a little longer when she came to check on Kai. She asked small questions about Earth and Kai's adventures. Kai noticed her smiles were more frequent and more natural. Sometimes, when she thought no one was watching, she laughed quietly. One afternoon, Kai found Zara in the garden. She was sitting by a small fountain, looking at the water. Kai walked over slowly. Hello, Zara, he said softly. She turned and smiled. Hello, Kai. Kai sat beside her. Did you like the kiss message? Zara nodded. It was unexpected. It made me think about feelings differently. Kai looked at her eyes. That is all I want. For you to see that feelings are not weakness. They are strength. Zara looked down at her hands. I have always been taught to hide feelings, to be strong for others. Kai took a deep breath. Sometimes, being strong means letting others see your heart. Zara looked at Kai, and for a moment, her guard seemed to fall. Kai smiled. Thank you for trusting me. Zara's lips curved into a gentle smile. Thank you for patience. Their friendship was growing. The hospital halls did not feel so cold anymore. Kai felt hope. That evening, Kai looked out of the window at the two suns setting. He thought about how far he had come from crashing on a strange planet to making a friend in a place so different from home. Kai whispered softly, maybe one day, Zara will send a kiss back. Kai's days at the Central Space Hospital were filled with healing and quiet moments. His leg was almost fully recovered. But the real healing was happening inside, between him and Zara. The alien nurse who had once been all business was beginning to show a softer side. One afternoon, Kai found Zara in the hospital's small library. She was alone, reading an old book with strange symbols. Kai approached slowly, careful not to disturb her. Hello, Zara, he said gently. Zara looked up, surprised but pleased. Kai, you are here. Kai smiled. I wanted to ask you about your world. About you? Zara closed the book and nodded. It is not easy to speak about, but I will try. Kai sat down beside her, ready to listen. Zara began quietly. I come from a planet called Nara. It is far from here. My people are strong, but we have lived through many wars. Kai listened carefully. In my home, many lives were lost. I lost my family, Zara said, her voice soft and steady. Because of that, I learned to hide my feelings, to protect myself. Kai's heart ached for her. That must have been very hard. Zara nodded. It was. I became a nurse because I wanted to save lives, to prevent others from losing what I lost. Kai reached out and gently touched her hand. Thank you for sharing this with me. Zara looked at his hand and then into his eyes. It is not easy to trust. But with you, I feel safe. Kai smiled warmly. I want to be your friend, Zara, not just a patient. Zara's smile grew brighter. And I want to learn to feel again, for the first time. Zara shared more than just facts. She told Kai stories of her childhood, of hopes and fears. Kai shared his own stories too, of Earth, of family, of dreams. Their bond grew stronger. They were no longer just nurse and patient. They were friends, learning from each other. One day, while walking through the hospital garden, Zara stopped suddenly. She looked at Kai with a serious face. There is something else, she said. In my culture, showing feelings is rare. Many think it makes you weak. Kai shook his head. I think it makes you brave. It takes courage to show who you really are. Zara looked thoughtful. Maybe you are right. Kai took her hand gently. We can help each other. I will help you with feelings, and you help me with healing. Zara smiled softly. Yes, together. As Kai's recovery neared its end, their friendship had become a light in the quiet hospital. Both had opened doors they thought were closed forever. Kai felt ready to return to his adventures. But he knew he would carry Zara's friendship with him always, Zara, once all business, was learning that caring and feeling made her stronger, not weaker. Together, they were proof that kindness could cross stars and heal even the deepest wounds. The Central Space Hospital was usually calm, but one afternoon, everything changed. Kai was walking down the hallway when alarms suddenly blared. Red lights flashed, and the hospital's quiet hum turned into a rush of activity. Doctors and nurses ran quickly to the emergency rooms. Kai's heart beat faster. He looked around and saw Zara rushing by, her face serious and focused. Without hesitation, Kai followed her. They reached a large room where several injured patients had just arrived from a nearby accident. The doctors were preparing for surgery. Zara took her place quickly, moving with calm skill. "Stay close, Kai," Zara said, her voice low but strong. "This will be difficult." Kai nodded. He wanted to help but was not trained for emergencies like this. Still, he stayed near Zara, watching her every move. Zara handed tools to surgeons, checked monitors, and comforted patients. She was calm, but full of energy, a strong leader in the chaos. Kai noticed how the other nurses respected her. They followed her lead without question. Suddenly, one patient's monitor beeped loudly. The patient's breathing was weak. Zara moved fast. She instructed a nurse to prepare oxygen and adjusted the patient's position. Kai saw her calm hands and clear mind. Then, a doctor looked worried. "We need blood plasma, and fast," Zara spoke quickly. "Kai, can you help get the plasma from storage?" Kai's eyes widened. He wasn't sure if he could do this, but he nodded. Zara handed him a small data pad with instructions. "Follow this path. Hurry, but be careful." Kai ran through the hospital's long corridors. He used the data pad to find the plasma storage room. He opened the door and saw rows of glowing containers. He grabbed one carefully and ran back. When he returned, Zara was still working. She took the plasma from Kai and handed it to the doctor. "Good job," Zara said, her eyes meeting Kai's. For a brief moment, her serious face softened into a proud smile. Kai felt his chest swell with happiness. He was part of the team. Together, they were saving lives. The emergency lasted for hours. Finally, the hospital settled. The patients were safe, thanks to the quick work of the staff. Zara finally sat down. Tired but satisfied. Kai sat beside her. "You were amazing, Zara." She looked at him and smiled again. "You helped too, Kai. You stayed calm when it mattered." Kai laughed softly. "I learned from the best." Zara's eyes sparkled with something new, respect and trust. They stayed in the quiet room for a while, sharing the peace after the storm. Kai looked at Zara and said, "We make a good team." Zara nodded. "Yes, together we are stronger." Kai felt hope for the future. Their friendship had grown beyond words and small smiles. It was real. Before leaving, Zara took Kai's hand gently. "Thank you for staying by my side." Kai squeezed her hand, always. As Kai walked back to his room that evening, he thought about how far they had come, from strangers to partners, from cold professionalism to warm friendship. He knew that no matter what adventures awaited him next, the lessons he learned with Zara would stay with him forever. Kai's time at the Central Space Hospital was coming to an end. His leg was fully healed, and he was ready to continue his journey through the stars. But the thought of leaving made his heart heavy. He had come to care deeply for the hospital, the people who worked there, and especially for Zara, the alien nurse who had once been all business but had now become a true friend. One morning, as Kai packed his small bag, Zara appeared quietly at his door. She looked different today. Her usual serious face was soft, and her green eyes held a new light. "Kai," she said softly. Kai looked up and smiled. "Zara, I was just thinking about you." Zara took a deep breath. "Before you leave, I want to ask you something." Kai nodded. "Anything." Zara hesitated for a moment. "Will you stay a little longer? Not as a patient, but as a friend." Kai's smile grew wide. "I would like that very much." Zara stepped inside and closed the door gently behind her. They sat together in Kai's room, sharing stories and laughter. It was a new beginning for both of them, a chance to build a friendship that crossed stars and cultures. Days turned into weeks. Kai helped around the hospital, learning new skills and supporting the busy staff. Zara showed him the alien ways of healing and caring. They worked side by side, growing stronger together. One evening, they walked in the garden under the twin suns. The sky was painted with soft colors, and the air was calm. Kai looked at Zara and said, "You've changed so much since I arrived." Zara smiled. "I learned to open my heart because you showed me how." Kai reached out and gently took her hand. "Thank you, Zara," he said, "for trusting me, for letting me be part of your world." Zara squeezed his hand. "Thank you, Kai, for patience, for kindness, for the kiss." Kai laughed softly. "I hope that kiss was just the beginning." Zara looked at him, her eyes shining. It was. Together, they watched the sun set behind the mountains, a promise of new adventures and shared futures. Kai knew that no matter where his travels took him, he had found something precious, a friendship that was real, strong, and full of hope. The alien nurse who was once all business had become much more. She had become a friend who smiled freely and cared deeply, and Kai knew that sometimes the smallest gestures, like a kiss sent with kindness, could change